Yo, Q, what up? Yo, Q,
Man, I'm keeping it real. What up, Duan?
Welcome.
Let's get it.
To not just music, where we keep it real, and honest.
Always.
My mama praying, telling me, Q, you need to chill. They can't respect the truth from just honest.
Everybody, everyone's Not Just Music Podcast. Your boy Duan Bruno, Quincy Murdoch in the building.
Yeah.
How's everything this Thursday?
Man, it's tax season. People got them taxes back. What's up? What's happening, man?
Black people, white people, everybody in the world of Not Just Music Podcast, or in the world, period.
How y'all spending that tax money?
Hopefully y'all are doing well. Hopefully, and if you do have tax money, hopefully you're well with your tax money. And if you don't have any tax money, well, a lot of people don't have tax money. But again,
a lot of them are grinding pretty much the whole year.
Business owners, y'all see tax season totally different. Y'all don't look at tax season the same way. But again, it's not a thing saying that it's not a enjoyment time to get money and have the ability to go spend it. Especially those that are getting money. Hopefully you spend it wisely. If you can, can spend it wisely, you can. You can't spend it wisely, I understand. Because a lot of us wait till this time of the year to spend the money, or to get the money and to spend the money, and just to spend it in like a 24-hour process. Some of y'all do it. I've seen it. I've literally seen a whole tax check go in less than an hour.
And that's sad.
Less than an hour.
That's sad.
And I don't want to say it's sad.
I'm
gonna say
it depends on what you. It depends on what it.
It's touching.
But I'm saying it hurt my heart though.
I don't want to talk about it because tax money is sensitive. Bro. I'd be like,
that's like talking about the
community. And you can do what you want to with your money. I'm not saying what to do, but again, like, boy, y'all spend that thing. We didn't even get to see it. Didn't even get to smell it. Just gone.
Ain't pay no old debt.
Neither some
no credit card.
Some people, and this is what I noticed too. One of the biggest things that I see people doing during tax season is cars. Now, a car is a very, 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 very important thing for a lot of people. But if you're gonna go buy a car, look, y'all, go get you something that is decent. Don't just go pick a car that's on any lot you see that fits your parameter of your check.
This sound like some blackish talk.
Yeah, take your time.
Real blackish.
Yeah, take your time, man. Make sure you grabbing the car that's gonna do good for your situation. Don't just be like,
two seat with rims on it, man. Candy paint.
Don't go get a BMW with 350,000 miles on it. Don't go do it. Don't go get a Mercedes-Benz with 350,000 miles on it either. Be honest with you, don't go get too many cars with 350,000 miles on it. Unless you know it's in tip-top shape and whoever had it before you, they was driving it every single day and it made sense and there ain't nothing going on with them, that's a good buy. But if it's just $350,000 car that's been sitting on a lot and you don't know how long it's been sitting on a lot, don't go buy that car. Mm-hmm. That's a bad investment. Mm-hmm. Make sure you invest and that people don't think that you can invest your tax money, and especially first. Again, like he said, bills. If you're gonna do it, take care of your bills. If you got bills to take care of, take them. Hey, zero them out. Zero out all your bills.
You know you ain't gonna pay them the rest of the year. Like you gonna
zero out your bills.
Just zero out them.
And then
the rest is up to you.
to go from there, because it is up.
We can't criticize you.
Your money is your money again, but I'm not gonna sit here and hold you to it. Which brings up a good thing, and I'm gonna ask this too: poor investments. This is one of the biggest things. I think I forget I've made poor investments. Everybody's gonna make poor investments. So
I have to.
When you make your poor investment, make sure the poor investment doesn't put you in a position where you cannot come back at all. Because I've seen some people get these poor investments and they cannot bounce back. Bouncing back is hard to do once that poor investment where you start going down the hole with that poor investment.
I done got scammed one time and it didn't feel. It was 3
I
digits.
bet it didn't feel
It was 3 digits.
I believe it.
3 digits. It was in 3 digits. Like I done got scammed some big money before. And I was working at McDonald's.
You say learn a lesson learned.
But the thing of it is, I had invested enough to where I didn't have zero to my name, like, you know what I'm saying. But still, it was a loss.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You want to get in them losses where it ain't a loss, but you know what I'm saying. You can shake back from it. You know what I'm saying. Like but it ain't good. But now I'm very picky on what I do now. Like losing $1 is a loss to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a big loss.
Yeah, so
that's a big loss. $1 especially if you don't know how to spend $1. If you don't know how to spend $1, it ain't gonna go too far for you.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna go far at all. And
exactly.
I think that's one of the things too. Like I said, poor investment. One thing, and I say this is one thing I always tell people: if you have the ability to not stay in an apartment, don't stay in an apartment.
Well, I've actually been scammed more than once then.
just if you have the ability to where you don't have to stay in an apartment, don't. If you have to, you have to. There's nothing wrong with staying in an apartment. But I want people to start putting money into something that's worthy of them, meaning that you're paying on something that's going to be yours versus just paying on something that'll never be yours. Apartment you ain't gonna never be able to pay that apartment off. It's impossible to pay that apartment off. You'll never be able to do it. I promise you. But you can put yourself in a mortgage to where you can be able to pay it off. Like one of my close friends, I don't like to say people's name, but if he's paying attention, Frank Grigley, brother, appreciate you for always being straightforward with me and let me see what things should be, how things should go. Especially when you're investing money into something. But one thing he did, and I have to say this was like genius, bro. When he first moved out on his own, right? He went and bought a house straight out the gate. He didn't go get an apartment. I've never seen somebody do that, right? So he moved from Charlotte to Concord, right? And he was standing up in Concord. He got a wife and he had a son. But what he did was he bought a house, 1-bedroom house, right? 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, kitchen, blah, 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 right? I think it was like, he got it for like $20,000, $23,000, something like that, right? He bought it straight out, cash. Now, I ain't say people got $23,000 sitting around. But if you got $1,000 sitting around, you can do a lot with that $1,000 and get yourself into a house. If you have the right credentials, meaning if you have decent credit, or if you have somebody that can sign with you. Most cases, y'all do need co-signers with y'all apartments too, so why not? Go ahead and jump on into the situation.
Banks, people. Banks will give you loans and credit cards. You know what I'm saying? If you got good history. Yeah.
One thing you have to realize that, as I said, bad investment. Now, I say apartments are bad investments because, like I said, what he did was he got this house, and little did anybody know he was just setting himself up for this even bigger move. You know, him and his wife and his son, they moved from this 1-bedroom house to a brand new house in Concord, not far from that one. I think it was like a 3-4 bedroom house, 2-story, brand new, built from the ground up. But you start somewhere, and this is things that I feel a lot of us we feel we'll get started. And then we'll reach that plateau with that apartment, and we never move. We never move. So if it's a thing of you in an apartment, don't stick there too long because like the apartments that we stayed in before we moved out into our house, the price was going up every year, every single year. And why, if the price is gonna go up, why not put that price, and like I said, into a mortgage, something that you can have, versus something that you'll never be able to put your hands on. I know I said a lot, but I'm unfolding it because the case of I've seen both sides of it. I've seen more people lose though dealing with apartments versus dealing with an actual mortgage. So, Tell me, bro. Like, what do you in the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself? And I'm gonna tell you where I see myself. I'm already tied up into a situation of mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I see myself doing is I may upgrade soon, right? The biggest thing though is kids. You got to think about that. Wife, got to think about that, or husband, depending on who you are. Because let me say this: teamwork makes the dream work. Nothing wrong with teamwork, making the dream work. If you by yourself though, not a problem. You can do this all on your own too. The biggest thing for me though is still having a mentality of a dream, a focus of where you're trying to go. A lot of y'all ain't thinking about where you're trying to go. And I think that's why a lot of y'all end up stuck in a position where y'all are at, especially when it comes to that bad investment. Mm-hmm. And that bad investment ain't gonna do you any good. Like I say, if you're gonna keep paying on this bad investment, guess what? It's just gonna continue to be a bad investment.
Yeah.
So how do you turn it into a good investment? Come up with a plan. Think about the future. Where you want to go? If you don't ever put that $1,000 aside, if you don't ever put that $5,000 aside, you don't ever put that $10,000 aside, $20,000 aside to go put that down payment on that house or that land, you ain't gonna never do it.
But see, another thing I want to throw in, a lot of people like you need to give that game. Like, you have parents that tell their kids to go rent.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be their first play. They, wet behind the ears, ain't never been out on their own, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first advice you get, mainly, majority, white parents too, but from the black community is, we're so anxious to go and get our own. Or you so anxious to put your kid out and just have them get their own, that you just tell them to rent. Just settle. Basically, that's what you're saying. Just settle. And house is probably out. Is impossible right now. Don't think about a house. Think about renting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you went back and said, like, dude, your friend went straight off the market and got a house, instead of renting.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. Like you say, that money that you had before you started renting, all that money you been putting into that rent, you could have had you probably had close to that 23,000, like, you know what I'm saying, before you even started renting. So we need people like you, the parents, to instill that in the kids, because like, it's your first time. Like, we're not gonna know it all, from the get go, and it's important to instill it the first time they do something, because like I say, like you said, you seen people that went down that path and never could bounce back.
Never.
You could never bounce back. So that one time you tell them to go rent and it goes bad, some people are still trying to dig themselves out of that hole from something years back that they were told to do. You know what I'm saying? It was told right to do. So that's important. I had to throw that in there because, yeah.
Just think about that, man. You in a position where you can level up, but you're not leveling up.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I think that most people, if you're leveling up, if you feel that you're not leveling up, that's a problem.
It's levels to it. Like we say, it's different levels.
If you feel like you ain't, if you don't feel like you leveling up, man. Like, I just still don't feel. if you don't feel,
you know what? Can I say this?
Yeah.
I'm not against staying at home until you can level up. I'm not against you staying at home, saving as much as you can until you can level up instead of settling and renting. I'm all for that. That's how I would be with my kids. Like, get all that you stay here, pay, give me a little bit on the bills and this and that here, here and there every month. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, manage your money, save your money up so you can go out and get something that's worth it or that you want, instead of just getting something that you don't want, but you have to get it. It's urgent. It's urgent. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how my mother was, like, and it's lifestyles, from previous your parents. So she had to go out and rent because, she got pregnant with me. Her parents put her out. She was in desperation mode. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how some parents will think when it comes to their kids, like desperation mode. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you don't have time. You got to get it now. You know what I'm saying? You got to get it now. So that's the thing. Like, you know, try to not put your lifestyle, you know, out there, influencing on your kids, and try to make them, you know, get something a slight bit better. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going down that same path.
Mm-hmm. Now this is that's one of the. I think that could be one of the biggest points of this podcast, because it's not common that it's being instilled. Let me say that again. It's not common for these type of things to be instilled in a child or your young adult child, however you choose to, whenever you choose to push it to them. It's not instilled. You're going to have to do some teaching.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do some teaching as a parent. You're going to have to do some teaching as a grandparent, whoever is teaching these kids, you know, teachers teaching it, whatever. Look.
Because when you grow up and you study yourself, you realize, like, nah, this wasn't right. Mm-mm. And then you'll try to tell your parent, like, nah, this wasn't right. And they finally be like, you got a point. Yeah, you right. I knew this, I knew this, Q. I knew this. Like, well, dang, you ain't tell me. You know what I'm saying? That's like life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like parents that just gonna tell you you're gonna deal with this. Like, you know, you might deal the heartbreaks and this and that. Don't paint it out to me like everything gonna be perfect. Mm-hmm. Tell me I'm gonna go through some things, you know, so I'll be ready for it, and I can know how to bounce back.
That's the key.
You know.
That's the key, and this is a thing to speak on with bad investments. One thing, and this is a thing of habit, and which also can go along with addiction. Whatever it is that you're addicted to, that's taking all of your money. That's the next problem.
Mine used to be women. I'm gonna just put mine out there.
Again,
it used to be women.
If you
buying an outfit for the women, what you buy clothes, what to impress the women, you buy, you know, that was my mindset. I was never smoker, never drinker. I love women. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing.
And that's of course, most people have that one addiction that could really tear them down.
Yeah.
I don't care. Pick your poison to whatever it is.
Yeah.
This is one thing I always said. It comes a time when that bad investment will kick you hard.
Yes, sir.
It'll kick you really hard.
Yes, sir.
Once you can get kicked by it, you
ain't gonna do it no more.
Yeah, and you gotta sit
put
there
your
and feel
hand on that hot stove. Ooh,
you gotta sit there and feel it. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't like to do. They don't like to sit and feel what them self-inflicted problems and situations, especially when it goes along with bad investments. Like you said, like people who tie their money into the wrong thing, and I don't care how bad or how much money you have. The richest person can have an addiction and it still be a bad investment.
It could be something as little as having a porn addiction and subscribing to people OnlyFans every month, just spending countless money. A lot of people have these different fantasies and fetishes, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The slightest little things that you wouldn't even know that could take your money, because it's not. And this is the thing. It's not even about how much money you spend. You could be spending $10 each day. It's gonna rack up.
Yep.
So it could be like small investments, but if it's an addiction, you're spending like constantly, like every day, it's gonna rack up. That's worse than spending, you know, your whole check and within 24 hours. You spending every day, it's gonna rack up.
Now think about that.
You know,
just think about that. You work 24 hours in a day, right? I mean, you can work 24 hours in a day, but it's 24 hours in a day. You work 8 hours of a day. If this is the thing too, and I'm learning this even better now. If you don't budget that your investments, meaning budget them in to what your lifestyle is, that could get you into a bad investment situation just as well. Because just because you can afford it don't mean that you need it. And it doesn't mean that just because you can afford it that you can keep up with this affordability. Sometimes affordability runs out and you can't afford something anymore.
Yeah.
Which makes it a bad investment then. Think about that. Think about stuff like that, because
no
I
matter
think
how much money you have.
yeah, you could be rich. Like, I mean, if I'm making $1 million a year and I'm spending $1 million a year, that ain't no good.
Like I told you, like Diddy had hit when, like, you know, he settled that lawsuit with Cassie, and everybody was like, yeah, this is just my mindset. I don't know how the world proceeded, but everybody was like, Diddy got the money, he got it, and I'm looking at it like, damn, like that's still a lot of money. Like, I wouldn't even want to come up off that. If I, you know, like I said, $1 is a loss. That's my, like, I don't care how much money I had. That's my money. You know, it's my money and I want it now, like they say. So, I mean, it's my money. I don't care how rich you are. Like you said, a bad investment is a bad investment. That was a loss. I don't care how much money Diddy has. It was still money he had to scoop up. Donald Trump losing that lawsuit. This is mine. I don't care how much money. A loss is a loss, man. And that's hustler's mentality. That's a hustler's mentality. Like, you know, like you know, you could lose $1. Like, nah, like 50. He a hustler. 50. Like, you know what I'm saying? He don't want to lose nothing. You know what I'm saying? He's still cheap. Like, he don't mind. Frugal. I love 50, like, you know what I'm saying? Because he'll wear white tees and jeans. Like,
being frugal is a mentality.
Yeah,
that's one thing. Like, I mean, to me,
it don't matter how much money you got.
If Diddy had that kind of money sitting around, that means he was saving. If Trump had that kind of money sitting around, that means he was saving. So
it gives the wrong impression when you just be like, "Oh, that ain't nothing."
And when somebody spends it, and when somebody can spend all that money at one time, they can't make all that money at one time. Remember that.
Exactly.
Remember that.
How hard it was to get
like he said, if it's not just because he's who he is and he's got it, that don't mean the case of
he can't lose it.
He didn't want to give it up in the case of what it like you just said.
Yeah.
What it took to get it.
It's just a hustler's mentality. That's something that people have, but some people don't.
It's in some people. It's not in a lot. It's not in everybody. There you go. It's in some people. It's not in everybody.
Yeah.
And that again, Diddy was making good investments. Good investments.
And you can tell he was real selfish and with his money.
There you go.
He was selfish with his money.
There you go.
In his business.
Think about something Texas rapper Slim Thug said one time. You know. And I think he was in his video with was it Gillian? No, it wasn't. No, yeah, it was Gillian Waller. I think it was with them. $1 million worth of game. He said, you know, these cats out here spending money, and you know, you think about this, right? You buying all these diamonds, you buying all this jewelry, you buying all these cars. You know what I'm saying? But are you putting any money away? You know. So see, like, where are you saving the money at? So like one thing that I saw he did, he buys these cheap clothes to wear around every single day. Nothing. I think he showed the shirt was like $7 and the shorts was like $10.
Yeah.
But we talking about $1 million black man.
Or they keep receipts. They wear it one day and return it.
Whatever they choose. In the case of it, whatever your frugality is, to save money and to be able to budget things into your lifestyle, the only way you can be able to do it is if you're gonna have to have a strict budget with yourself. How much money are you spending? Where are you spending the money at? Like, again,
if somebody can ask you to go in your bank account and withdraw some money now, can you do it?
Yeah.
If you got more money, and clothes in your closet and shoes and your house and this and that, but your bank account is zero, you're not winning, sir. You're not winning, ma'am. That's not a winner. That's not winning mentality. You gotta have something saved up. The
idea is, to me, especially if a person is making some money, and if the average person is making $300 to $500 a week, if you can't keep at least $25 of that, you ain't doing it right.
I keep more than that. It's a mindset thing. Like I said, a hustler's mentality.
Where you're at is only up to you. That's why I said that. So if you're at a point where you can't, if you're making $300 to $500 a week, again, if you cannot save at least, I'll go lower. If you can't save at least $5, that's a problem.
But you know what? Some checks I can do my thing. You wanna know why? Because, like you said about Diddy, you know, eventually down the road, these people were saving.
You gotta
They were saving.
You have to.
I always keep something in my account, man. Like I'm big on the accounts. I don't carry money on me. It's all on the card. You know, this is my mentality, because if I see it, I know that I'm more likely to spend it. That's why I hide my money from myself.
And see, most people, that takes strength to be able to do that.
Yeah.
If you can't save money, and I hate to say this, if you can't, again, I just said it again. If you can't save money, you're in a bad position. That means you'll never budget. You'll never get yourself to a point where you're putting something away. If you're just doing it all the time, consistently for 20, 30 years, you're never gonna do it. So where's the money gonna ever come? Where's the money ever gonna come from if you ain't ever saving it? So if the case of, here's a rainy day, what you gonna do when a rainy day come? Of course, yes, mindfully, yes. If you got help, you got help. If you don't have help, guess what? You're gonna have to save up. But at the same time, even if you do have help, guess what? That person that's helping you, or that help that you're getting, eventually is gonna run out. So eventually you have to get yourself to that point where you're learning to save.
It's easier to have it and take a little loss than not have it and take a loss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Diddy took a loss, but it wasn't a loss because like I said, he's been saving. He's been saving.
Yeah.
So
and
it's still considered a loss, but
and another example of how they say those companies that take well, I ain't gonna say just a company, but just let's just say a business.
Yeah.
They make these investments to buy things to bring in to see what's selling. To see if they can make bank off of this stuff. If it don't make bank, guess what they're gonna do? Get rid of it. It's not gonna stay forever, because what's the use of putting money into something that's not making any money? That's gonna be a poor investment. That's the mentality that we all have to get to.
Let me say this. Yeah. Like with clothings, buy a couple of them first. You know what I'm saying? For my clothing designers, buy a couple of. Don't get a whole bundle of stuff and don't know how the reaction is gonna be with the people and stuff like that. Get you a couple of them, advertise these clothes, see the reactions, and then if you're getting people wanting to order, that's when you bundled up. Once you get a reaction from it, like, oh, I like that. I want one of them. You can't just go, and that's the thing with like us black folk, we'll go head into something and don't even test the waters or even know. Like, hold on, let me see how this works first. Let me see how the people react, the consumers act to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's with that tax money. Don't just throw it all in one thing. You know what I'm saying? Put a little bit right here. You know, pay this bill, pay that bill. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even gotta pay the whole. Put half on it at least. You know what I'm saying? Put half on it. Put something to it. You know what I'm saying? It adds up. Yeah. Instead of just throwing all of it in one thing.
Because it's easy to throw it all into one thing.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that. I mean, exactly. I don't. If you, it's the reason why most people throw it all into one thing is because they're desperate to have something. Like I said, like in the beginning with the car.
Or they didn't have to work for it. Or it didn't come hard. Or they don't appreciate it.
It didn't come via. It don't come via their pain and suffering to get it. Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to throw away somebody else's money. It's easy to do it in that light too. And then again too, just because your addictive mind thinks that way too. You won't even think about what's going on in realistic lifetime or things that's gonna happen or something that's gonna happen due to your addiction to something. Some women got addiction to shoes. You buying all these shoes, you can't even wear all these shoes every single week, every single day.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
I think, and a lot of people my generation, I'm talking to the black community, I think a lot of us don't even intend to live long. Our mindset. I think a lot of us don't even think we're going to make 30, 40, 50. And it's sad. So we have that mentality like, I might as well get it now. Whatever I want, I might as well get it now. House, why I need to worry about a house? I mean, I might not make it to see 35, 40. That's the mentality that most of us have. But then when we make it to 35, 40, we stuck because we was in that mentality. So that's a lot of ways our mentality, we just think about trying to survive tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Make it today. That we don't think down, like how our ancestors thought. They were thinking about us. They were thinking about how they gonna be able to take care of themselves if I die. Now we're just thinking about us. Like, we ain't even think about our kids most times. We're just like, okay, I might not even live to see 35. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me just live my life. And you got a whole kid over here. Let me just live my life. I'm just, your life stopped once you had that kid. You know what I'm saying? So, the mindset too is jacked, man.
So, now, speaking of mindset, if the mindset isn't, again, if it isn't squared off, if it isn't on point, you're going to eventually show your flaws at trying to have things and doing things as far as investments.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to think, do some tallying up, do some research, figure some things out, but if your budget, if you're in a spot where you're paying too much and you're not ever getting to save a dollar, you might need to move. So at the end of the day, like it's a thing of like, okay, or even if, like I say, if you got the help to push and do things to get it done, to accept the help. But at the same time, if you're by yourself, just remember, is it a good investment or is it a bad investment?
Yeah.
Is it a good investment or is it a bad investment? It's look up good investments, look up bad investments, see which ones line up with you, and figure it out. Learn how to save, if nothing else. Yeah. We reached that point. We at the end. We ain't gonna keep holding y'all. It is Thursday. You still have a little bit of time to get you some coffee, or if you ain't a coffee drinker, you go drink your little drink. Sip
ready for that Friday.
Sip your champagne, whatever it is. Drink your water. Eat your food.
Payday tomorrow.
Friday is
spend that check wisely.
Remember, good investments, bad investments. Save your money when you can. If you can't save any money, what good can you be for yourself years and years and years to come? Okay?
And what good can your kids be in your
not even just your kids. How about just generations to come? Yeah. Say that, period. Generations to come. You want the whole family you want your whole family to have. Not just, again, your kids will be your kids. Again, sometimes your kids may not be the ones they'll spend your money, all of your money. But at the same time, you gave them something to spend, and it's up to them to know what they need to do.
Can I say this? I just want to leave this in there, please. Like, black people, leave some type of business or something, like, working within your family, a business that you can leave your kids and like your generations. Because what I'm seeing is a lot of us are getting old, working these jobs, 9 to 5s, and then we can't work no more. And a lot of us are having to spend our retirement money because, we can't even get the assistance, from the government, because the government don't want to act right. So now we're having to dive into our own savings that was set up for our kids and generations to come. That's why this is important, that we practice like trying to get businesses and create businesses for our kids and generations to come. So create our own work, to where we know we will have a job. We're guaranteed to have a job. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset that I would love to see the black community get to. Like, where we create jobs for our own. You know what I'm saying? Where we can't get fired. And we hire who we want to hire and work our hours how we want. You know what I'm saying? Operate how we want to operate. That's what I would love to get to. Yeah. So, us here at Not Just Music Podcast, we still have a lot of learning to do ourselves and growing to do ourselves. I mean, but we all in this together. So regardless of, it's not like we're throwing this out there for the betterment for everybody. If these topics ain't talked about, we probably won't ever think about it. If you're already on the website, you're in a good place. And that means you're already following properly. Hopefully, if not, subscribe. Get these subscriber list moving up and get the people coming in. It's coming. It's slowly coming. But again, just remember, if you want the latest from us, subscribe via the website. If you're on your favorite network right now, make sure you subscribe or follow, tap in. So next time we upload and post, you'll already be in the know. But again, if you're subscribed to the website, that is the best place to be. Remember, if you're on the website, look around. There's a lot of stuff there, merch there. Conversation is there. I mean, it's plenty stuff to look at. Too much stuff to listen to. Plenty. You won't be able to listen to any of all this in one day, I promise you. Yeah.
In a week or in a month's time. Yeah. But at the end of the day, well, maybe in a month's time, but you have to do a whole lot of listening. But again, hopefully y'all again just tapping in. Thank y'all for tapping in as long as y'all have. Again,
We all on the podcast, Apple Podcast.
easy to find us anywhere.
All that.
Just easy. If you want to Google it is always Google gonna win. Google gonna put you right
It's gonna
in.
pull up all where we at.
Right in the mix of things, and it just
Whatever
be easy
you
to go
use,
from
your
there
platform.
and take off from there. Again, take off from there. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Not Just Music Podcast. We out.
Another one.